Before the video begins, make sure to hit the like button down below for me if you did enjoy this video, and make sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below letting me know what you'd like to see next. Ever since I've started my journey as a gamer, my hand has been holding a Nintendo for as long as I can remember. My first ever game was Pokemon Yellow, and with it for my 5th birthday, I also got a yellow Game Boy Color. Of course, I've played and owned various systems. I've had the Xbox 360 and One, most of the PlayStations, an Atari and a SNES, but none of them quite compared to the magic of Nintendo for me. From Game Boy to GameCube, and then to Wii, and then the Switch, Nintendo has continued to handcraft memories for me, and with the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its release date around the corner, I thought it would be fun to talk about 5 games that are desperately needed for this new system. Games that would bring in a ton of players, new and old alike, and could potentially thrust the Switch 2 into a category of game lineup we haven't seen since like the mid-2010s. And just for the sake of conversation, this list will not include Mario Party, Kart, or main games, Zelda, or Pokemon. These are all franchises that we know will get new games given a matter of time. Before we fully get into the list, I wanted to start with an honorable mention, and that's Super Smash Bros. This game franchise has been around since the Nintendo 64, and as a game marketed as a party game, it makes sense for it to be added onto the Switch 2. That being said though, the title of Smash Ultimate was Everyone is Here, but clearly missed opportunity to add characters like Waluigi or Knuckles. And with introduction of Echo Fighters in the last game, there should really be no reason as to why this wouldn't have been possible. But instead, all we got were reskins of characters we already have, and things like Pichu. There's a huge opportunity for Nintendo to re-release Smash Ultimate for the Switch 2, except this time, all the characters should be available in the base game, and this time, when Nintendo releases DLC characters, it could actually be focused on characters the community is asking for and not Piranha Plant. But now onto the actual list. With the Switch 2 announcement, we also got a look at a new Mario Kart game, and to me, while a tad annoying, this does make sense considering the first Switch was released with the introduction of a new Mario Kart game as well. So it feels fitting that Nintendo is following in its own footsteps here. However, I really think for this console to sell like crazy, the game catalog needs to be extremely enticing. And what better way to do that than to not only feed off your nostalgia, but also your soft and loving heart as well. Nintendogs was a game that released all the way back in 2005 and hasn't seen an update since 2006. In this game, you're able to do all the things that a loving pet parent should. You can play with your dogs, teach them tricks, take them to shows or grooming salons, and ultimately just have fun with your dogs. Any dog of your choice. I don't know about you, but when this game first came out for the Nintendo DS, I was in love. I loved having all the various dog breeds and actually speaking into my DS to tell them to sit or roll over. And I think this could easily be an experience that the entire family would love. The great thing about the Switch compared to the DS is the Switch can be hooked up to the TV, creating the opportunity to make games more out in the open and not closed in by hunching over our screens at night. And this is the exact type of environment that would make games like Nintendogs thrive. Not only would parents or friends get to watch you play with dogs and have a fun time as well, but for younger kids, this could be an educational moment. Parents sitting down with their kids and showing them how to care for and love the animal makes for great bonding time, but also makes for good practice possibly before taking that final step of getting the first pet. Either way you look at it, this game would be a killer on the Switch, and I think this needs to be one of Nintendo's first choices for the Switch 2. Next up is a game that I actually think will be released on the Switch 2, and that's Animal Crossing. Now, Animal Crossing is another one of those games that Nintendo has had a long history with, but personally, it's always felt a little neglected. Like Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, these are all the family geniuses who are gifted with everything, and Animal Crossing is just the cousin that's been working retail and has been kind of forgotten about. Now, that's not to say Animal Crossing New Horizon wasn't a ton of fun, it's just that fun was kind of forced on us by COVID, and fell off quite a bit later. The main problem I have with these games is that they're so slow. Slow text from NPCs sometimes, slow island progress, slow house progress, and while that's fine because not every game needs to be fast-paced nonsense, I would like a few more quality of life changes to my Animal Crossing experience. For example, if I'm going around and collecting the weeds off the ground of my island to make it look nice so KK Slider will come to my island, I should be able to pick up multiple at a time, even if it requires an upgrade to a skill. Or, for example, if I'm eating items to give me stamina, I should be able to eat an entire stack of food and get full stamina rather than eating the items one at a time. Small changes like this would definitely make the game more enjoyable and would keep pace flowing a little bit better in my opinion. This is a game that already has a bunch of variety and customization, so I fully expect the next game to be even more colorful and extravagant than what this one currently offers. I just want Nintendo to look at what is needed for a better experience and fine-tune this game as well as it possibly could. The third game on this entry is actually a game that I personally don't have any ties to, but a certain content creator I love to watch is obsessed with this series, and what better time to bring back Donkey Kong Country than now. Now, I have played one of the DK games on the Wii when it first came out, and it was a lot of fun. I just never got into the franchise like others did. However, I feel like it's been far too long since we've gotten a new DK game, solely based on Dylan's reaction during each Nintendo Direct. So, a new DK game is much needed not only to satiate the lad here, but to reintroduce kids around the world as to who DK is. We had the Mario movie a few years back, so relevancy for the character is there, and with games like Mario Odyssey, we could easily see a DK game in a more modern or even futuristic setting. So, with all that being said, what I'd like to see is a modern or even postmodern setting for DK, where maybe the Earth is having trouble with water levels or sustaining life in certain areas due to a villain's actions, forcing the player to go around to different areas of the world, stopping whoever's causing these issues for our group of characters. The whole game would be an allegory for global warming and could easily tie back around to the character motivation, as the changing of Earth's atmosphere would make it difficult to grow bananas in certain areas. All around, this would be another smash hit right beside Mario, and is a game that has super easy motivation as I just discussed. As for a working title, I wanted to tie back to the roots of the franchise but also give it a modern feel, and I think I may have thought of the perfect working title. If Nintendo made a DK Country game for the Switch 2, I think it should be called Donkey Kong Country 2064. This title serves as to show how modern the game is, with the 20 on the front, but also ties back to DK64 on the Nintendo 64, which is where so many people, including Dylan, fell in love with this oversized gorilla. Swinging into the fourth spot is a game that I'm very much surprised didn't have a game on the original Switch, considering how popular and fun it was on the Wii. Remember that while this console is marketed as something you can play handheld or on TV, it was also being marketed as something that can be used to make households healthy again. There have been several attempts by Nintendo to create games that are interactive and healthy, but each time they fall a bit short in my opinion because those games are oriented for health over fun. Yes, fun can still be had, but the focus is health. However, one game could easily flip this whole ordeal on its head, and it could get people to become healthier as a result of focusing on fun. And that series is none other than Punch-Out! Released all the way back in 1984, this boxing classic has been a favorite of many Nintendo fans, and like most other Nintendo games, does have a wide array of interesting characters. From Glass Joe to Super Macho Man, each character has a distinct boxing style to them, and actually forcing the player to get up and quote-unquote box against their opponent sounds like a ton of fun to me. This would not only make people a bit healthier in the process of gaining glory, but this is the exact type of game to pull out during a family gathering to get all the cousins and uncles who think they've got skills to join in on the fun. Hitting not only your opponents but your ego as well, Punch-Out! World Boxing Premiere would easily be a smash hit amongst fans worldwide. The last game I want to talk about is actually one that I think could pull in COD and Marvel Rival players, and that's 007. Now, 007 has been passed along through several different studios over the years, but Nintendo did have rights from 1995 to 1998, and during that time, GoldenEye became one of the most infamous games on the Nintendo 64 and in general, and has even had relevant speedruns in the last few years. It's a franchise with a super recognizable character, or at the very least character archetype, a ton of fun gadgets, and puzzles that would feel similar to even Zelda fans, and has great action sequences with not only gunfights but car chases and even things like helicopter chases as well. There's always beautiful landscapes that accompany these games, and I remember feeling like a spy when I was able to take down several armed guards without being noticed. With the chance to make you feel powerful and stealthy, the use of cool gadgets, explosive gunfight sequences, and the story itself, 007 serves as an olive branch series that, again, would serve to attract players from the other popular shooters to not only try 007, but maybe some other Nintendo games while they're here. I mean, after all, it may not be a shooter, but who doesn't want to love a new puppy on their Nintendogs game for the Switch 2, huh? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comment section below if you did. This video idea kind of just popped into my head at work all of a sudden. My friend mentioned a game that he'd like to see on the Switch 2, and I was like, you know what? 5 games that should be on the Switch 2. And if you'd like to hear 5 more, because this was originally going to be a top 10 video, let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, I will see you all next time.